All right, everybody, we're going to call the Nottingham Select Board meeting tonight for Monday, October 28th. This is a budgetary meeting. This is not one of our normal meetings. So what we are here to do is to go over the preliminary budget. Things that we talked about tonight is not the final budget. So anybody at home watching this, don't get too worried. It's our first opening for us to get it all together so we can start to look at what we need to figure out how. You can keep watching along in the next couple of meetings, you'll figure it out. But it's just to go over what the budgets are from the department heads. So we're gonna start with the budget of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll just do the action items at the end of the presentations. Okay? So who do you want to call up first? Okay.
Good evening, Jen Phillips. I am one of the trustees.
Amanda Stevens, the interim library director.
Okay. You want to take your picture first?
that way they can get eye contact with the camera, which is, most people don't do, so you get that. Ready? In a while, they with your file.
All right. First, I want to invite everybody to our open house on Thursday. It runs from 10 in the morning when we open until 8 p.m. when we close. So please come and see all of the improvements and other things we've done. Not quite sure where you want to start, but I guess I will say that this is probably the more of a contentious budget with the trustees than I had originally anticipated, because we are not this year asking for a full-time exempt 40 hours per week plus and reopening to our normal hours. And there were a number of trustees that had a problem with that. However, that would have it would have been a market increase over the default budget. So what we have opted to present to you instead is a small increase in the number of hours per week that staff are at the library, and this is not to be open longer hours. This is solely to shift the tasks that are being handled by some of the trustees back over to the library. So that represents, I think, about an $8,000 increase, or $8,300. I can't remember now. 8,000. Yeah, it's an $8,000 increase, and that, by and large, is additional hours for existing employees to cover tasks that the trustees are doing now.
Additional hours, but not open hours.
Right. And then, I mean, I'm sure we can come back to that if you have more questions, but as far as the operating budget, again, this is an increase that is attributable to increase in costs. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Rube Goldberg machines, where you knock a marble and it knocks over the dominoes and it just keeps going. That's kind of how the parking lot has manifested. We were trying to get the dimensions of the leach field for the parking lot design. We found out the leach field had failed. The leach field design went in. We were told by DES that we needed to have water treatment, water testing, quarterly. I think it's quarterly. So we're now testing our water quarterly. We
That's-
failed one of those.
That's because of the public water
Yep.
access or whatever.
Yep. So we are now on a testing program. We passed our first test. The second test in the second quarter that we had going, we had multiple failures. This led to an investigation into the old wellhead as a potential bacteria source. That was cut and sealed. The new well was chlorine shocked. The total we have spent this year on our water system is $3,450.97, and that was not budgeted for. That's all new. So another part of this was that we learned that the existing parking lot edge is in the sanitary protection zone of the well. So that's going to impact any additional design work on the parking lot. On the positive side, Amanda applied for and received a grant for an ADA accessible sensory garden. And we were able to use some of that grant money, which was augmented with donation monies, that allowed us to fix the lower level rear door. Had a drop of about 2 inches, I think, and that's not an ADA, that's an ADA compliance issue. You need to have a flush threshold. So as part of the need for accessibility to the garden, we were able to repair that, get a new path in. So we've checked that one off the list of trip hazards, so that's good. We learned that the electrical wiring to the new wellhead was improperly grounded. That was fixed by Steve's wonderful crew. And then any other increases in here are primarily funding just aging building items. We also had an increase in the New Hampshire downloadable books. This is our ebook program, $1,000 increase. So we have a very high usage, and it's a usage-based fee. They take the number of people that are using, they plug it into a formula, and they tell us how much we owe them. We cannot go up or down from that. We pay this as a fee. Is that correct? I've kind of gotten to the edge of my list. Do you have anything that you want to add?
We were fortunate to have new carpet installed, which has definitely made a difference in our appearance when you walk in through the door. Also, we're just sort of upgrading different areas of the library for programming purposes. We're enlarging the children's area for story hour, and also on the top floor, we've moved shelves around and have a nice big space for programming. So when we have 20 or 30 people, it won't be such a cram for everyone.
Do you want to go through the list of the programming? Programming is what brings people in, and I mean, it's been remarkable. We have a new monthly homeschool group.
Yep, and then we started a middle school group, a weekly middle school group, where students are bused from the school. The STEAM and Lego Club, every session is full with a waiting list. Almost every story hour for preschoolers are very busy. With our new outdoor space, the children's librarian has been utilizing, the mud kitchen and the nature's classroom that was actually developed just this past summer. And then coffee hour on Wednesday mornings is consistently well-attended. And we have the different speakers coming in each week.
Bottom line, I guess, the library is being extensively used, our programs are packed. The library's parking lot, when we're trying to get everybody in the library during our open hours, it is putting additional stress on the parking lot. We've started keeping track of overflow days, and there are at least 4 a month, and sometimes more than that, where we have not only our full parking lot, but the kind of the lower lot, the dirt lot.
Old PD.
Yeah, the old PD. I'm never quite sure what to refer to it as, but yeah, that one's usually full too. So, I mean, this is a bare bones budget that we're presenting to you. We're not asking for anything fancy or above, like our normal books and our ongoing costs, our fixed costs. Our fixed costs, like everybody else's, continue to go up. So I guess I'll take a pause there and see if anyone has any questions.
I don't have anything.
You think $2,300 enough for your operating, for the general operations? The increase of $2,300?
Oh, the increase? I mean,
Do you think that's enough?
do I think it's enough? No, but it's above 4%.
Right, that's the bottom line.
I mean, we're trying so hard to stay within this. Is it enough? Well, you know, our materials budget used to be about 21K a year of our total. We are using that materials budget to pay for the maintenance stuff. So we're buying fewer books to pay for maintenance. It's gone from 21K down to 17.6, the amount we're spending.
Yeah, nobody's budget's gonna be enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did the math.
Until we
We're
change.
allocating 16% less of our money to books. And we're spending less than that because this is the only line that is truly discretionary. Everything else we have to pay. We have to clean the building. We have to pay for the library automation service. We have to pay for our post office box. We have to pay for repairs. We are fortunate that we get free internet and we get free IT services. That saves the library about $10,000 to $12,000 a year, if not more.
If you didn't do the post office box and put a mailbox out there,
Wouldn't we have to pay for that?
well, you'd have to buy the mailbox.
I mean,
But
we're talking
it's-
$30, right?
Right,
Isn't it?
right, I know,
Right.
but it's still, it's something that we talked about doing for, like, even this building, if possible. You know, it's just something to consider that you're, because the post office will deliver.
It will, then
But
we
it would
have
have
the
to be
added
like
question of
outside.
security,
Right,
yes.
right.
And-
Is there things in there that you need to worry about compared to a regular residential place?
I think so, just given the, you know, the statutory requirements that we have to keep things private, and I would be nervous about that.
Yeah, I don't know, so I have to ask the question.
I appreciate that.
Just a quick thing, I'm not gonna go into too much detail on it, but the new parking lot. We were saying that, I mean, obviously it fills, and then you have the other parking lot that fills, and where the septic came in, where's the extra land to make the parking lot bigger up the top where it is?
We probably, so as far as the parking lot being bigger, it would just have to be the two lot, it would have to be two lots paved
And make a walkway up to the other.
and make a walkway, yeah.
That's, right, that's.
That's now, because we can't.
I
so
figured that, I just wanna make sure
the-
that we're on it.
So just for additional background, part of the thought process was to make that parking lot safer to exit, which would have required a one-way horseshoe-shaped U-turn, or horseshoe-shaped parking thing. The problem with that is that that design requires the edge of the parking lot to move even closer to the wellhead, which would put, I'm pretty sure we would be prohibited from
So the
doing it.
design doesn't work,
The design does not work.
right? Well, it's a good use of space for that extra, for you, that's down there, I mean.
Yep.
right? It ain't doing anything and,
Right, and it's nice that it abuts it,
yep.
even if it's, needs a walkway, you know, that's
Great for
still,
the overflow.
Yeah,
All right.
it is. Any other, I am an open book. If you think of additional questions, let me know.
Just two line items, so, yeah, we're,
yeah, I mean, well, because everything's lumped into operating,
Right.
so.
And I can give you the detail, but honestly, it's changed from what we originally thought, because again, you know, nearly $3,500 in unanticipated water costs, that came from books.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm good.
all right.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
Right now?
Just because you've already done this before, you know, when you see budget committee, I don't know if the number 48,000 is gonna be good enough for them, if they wanna see it all broken down even.
Well, 48 was from last
Right,
year.
48 's from last year.
50,
Well, 50,
300
right,
is
but-
our, yeah, and yeah, I'll have,
They-
I'll have all my fancy
That's
charts.
just like, you know, not that you didn't know, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Guys, in particular, you wanna do highway, you wanna do
Who's next?
fire, police, who's next? Anybody wanna get out early by coming up now to see us first?
I gotta stay until the end, so.
Right, Steve, come on up, Steve, go to highway.
Steve, I was able to enter before I got these worksheets printed, so. Scroll to page, whatever, 7.
Steve, by the way, things have been looking good, so thank you very much for what you've done. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Anytime you're ready, Steve.
Basically, just, you guys have the numbers in front of you. Here to answer any questions, basically. We went with the actual numbers, roughly. The only thing that I'm really looking to increase that, it would be the roadside mowing. Other than that, I'm at pretty much
Roadside what?
mowing.
Oh, okay.
What we're doing right now is mowing a third of the year, third of the town per year. So that means we're mowing the roads once every 3 years. We're losing to brush and trees. So that's the biggest thing. Other than that is pretty much everything is actual costs.
Is that line 226?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
For increases, I should say.
All right, so we spent almost, you know, a little over 15. Right? What's that number?
2.6.
No, sorry.
We actually haven't,
Oh, no.
they're
I was gonna
just doing
say.
the mowing now, so nothing's been
So
expended yet.
nothing's there.
It will be expended.
I was looking for the one
Well,
above it.
I mean, if he has time to mow and spend that $10,000, that'll get us about a third of the
Are
town.
we hiring that done?
Yes.
Because we don't have the equipment to do it.
Nor do we want to really.
Right.
Until it gets back to where it should be, then it wouldn't be, I mean,
It would be nice, but
yeah, it would be at some point, but I mean, right now, I think it would be a big expense,
you'd have to buy a tractor. you'd have-
equipment-wise and labor-wise, for what we are trying to do.
What would it take from a maintenance perspective, once we get there, to do it?
So I believe that after talking to a couple different roadside mower guys and getting a rough estimate to get the roads all done and back to where they need to be, about $25,000 next year would do that. After that, we should be able to go back down to about $12,000 a year to mow them. But obviously, it's gonna be more expensive because of the growth
Yeah, but what,
for the first year.
if we got to a point where you said we could do it ourselves, what would we need for equipment?
Oh, a tractor and a, maybe an over-the-rail mower or something. A tractor with a mower.
Yeah.
Probably over $100,000 time you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a mower that we could just put on a current tractor? No, we don't have a tractor that,
Nothing that we have
okay, that's what I'm trying to get to.
for equipment.
Okay, so it would be a different tractor.
Right,
and
right,
mower.
right. So it's not,
Implement.
doesn't make sense right now.
The only thing you'd do is probably rent one and
Yeah.
put one of our guys on it.
Right. And then, Yeah.
Are we saving any money?
no,
Right,
now you're back to, yeah, might as well just hire it done. That-
Yeah.
But if we could get it, if we could spend a little bit more money next year and get the whole road, the whole town done, as wide as we can. And then the year after that, we'd be able to cut it back down to 12, probably. And have the whole town done every year instead of just once every 3 years.
right, because they could do it faster. if
Right.
there's less.
Or even if we're doing it ourselves with our own tractor, at least,
Right.
then we'd be able to do the whole town. Right now, it's just
Right,
so,
and
so far behind that it's gonna take some time.
Yep, yeah, I was just
Because you're
wondering,
mowing more brush than grass right now.
and that's why I was wondering what it would take equipment-wise for us to do.
Yep.
Hired equipment? We're over on that one? For
Snow plowing, I believe.
snow plow? That
Will that
last storm,
change if we're fully staffed?
It's gonna be a little better this year because we have one more truck we've added. As long as we can get another part-time driver, then we've eliminated one of our hired trucks. So that'd be great. And that's what we're setting that truck up for, is so we can eliminate probably one of mine.
last storm killed us.
What's that?
That last storm killed us.
The ice and trees was horrible. That was absolutely horrible.
Culverts, we haven't spent anything so far?
No, but we are.
Okay.
We
What
have-
do we got scheduled?
We have Saks Road and, hang on. There's another one. Can't think
Is that
right now.
$2,500 gonna cover it?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
The small culverts then?
yeah. We do not have any small culverts left in the pit, so we are gonna have to put some back there. So, to have,
Yep.
in case of problems after hours. I just haven't stocked yet.
Winter sand's all set?
Winter
Sand? You got screened?
I have a good supply of sand. We've worked on it a lot last year. I think I probably have enough for 2 years right
Okay.
now, piled up. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Maybe even a little more than that.
Okay.
You know, whenever we have time, I have the guy, you know, one of the guys go down there and screen.
Good.
Yep.
Obviously, if we're going forward towards what the last year's default budget is, we're a little different. How's the salt for this year?
Believe I have enough to get us into the next year,
Yeah, it's not that long.
right? Depends on the weather, though. It was snowing this morning.
I know, that's what I said. It's
Didn't
not
give me
very
a
long.
fuzzy feeling.
Are we doing more additional signage, or are we just,
I'd like to.
I didn't know if that was gonna be, or if we need to keep that down because of other stuff going on.
I'd like to start marking all our culverts with,
Those,
delineators,
The stake
basically.
things.
I mean, so that falls into signage.
yeah,
And we obviously have some signs that need to be replaced.
yeah, just curiosity, so you put one on each side, right? How much do those cost, just,
I don't know off the top of my head.
yeah, cause it's just a reflector, right, and a pole, a stake.
Like, it's like, I think the reflectors are like $8 a piece. And I don't know what the poles are.
Galvanized stakes, they're, yeah. more
Yeah, they're
than-
up there.
Right,
They're up there.
everything costs so much. It's just a couple of stakes and
I know, it
reflectors.
sounds simple, but. So we've been trying to, like, the roads that we ditch and, you know, trying to mark the culverts that are on those roads. We're also painting on the roads, so you can find them in the snow, you know,
When you're marking, we're using anything different than,
just delineator poles with,
Yeah, they weren't.
so how do we know it's a culvert and not just cautionary?
well, if there's one on both sides of the road across from each other. And, you know, we kinda know.
Right.
We do have a-
that
We should,
survey,
but-
Right?
They were identified in the,
Yeah, we do have a map with the culverts.
Okay.
But I mean, this is so, you know, when you send a guy out and you go, hey, I wanna open up, check this culvert, you know, they can find them easier.
Just didn't know if we should paint the delineal stakes different color.
Or we could, yeah.
But anyways, that's,
I'd just be happy to have poles at them for now.
I get it.
Just something,
Yep.
you know?
You paint them camouflage so they don't,
Right. They can't see them.
what's not on. Can we tell from,
they're sounding off.
Are they?
Yeah. There's. Testing. Yeah, the green light goes on every time.
right, so is it this, you know, Comcast or Google? Maybe they should try the other one?
We're not live.
We're not live.
No.
I don't know.
Which one of these line items do you think will go over budget by the end of the year? Any of them? Foreseeable? I know, tough question to
Guess
ask,
it all
but
depends on what we get for warrant articles and.
what the weather is.
And what the, right, because everything from my department is weather-related.
Yep.
You know, it's, you know,
Sand, gravel, stone should be all right.
yeah, I mean, but that's about the
We're
only
not
place.
rebuilding any more roads. Well,
It depends,
that's right.
yeah. Like I say, everything is
Nasty
weather-related.
rainstorm,
Mud season, who knows what next year's mud, we went through a lot of stone this year,
right.
a lot of stone. But,
Time will tell.
and,
I'm just thinking end of the year,
yeah,
get through the budget.
Oh, you mean for this year? Oh, for this, yeah, this year, I think we're gonna be okay.
Okay.
It's gotta be close.
Well, at least you know what you're looking for.
Yep.
You know, when we put all the numbers together from everybody that's out there is where we're gonna see on what has to get
Right.
taken down a little, you know? I mean, I don't think what you're asking for here is unreasonable, but I can already see line items are gonna be, it's just the nature of the, you know what it is, so.
Part-time salary line went a little over, quite a bit over, but.
Yeah, that was quite a bit, right, that's over, but we were a little short.
Well, we were short on our full-time because we were
Right.
using part-time because we didn't have a full staff.
Right.
Now we have a full staff, so now the part-time number will come back down, but now I'm gonna use up more of the full-time. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of a give and take,
Yep.
you know?
Right, you kinda have to look at all the salary together.
Right, almost, yeah. You know, then we had a little more overtime because we were short full-time guys.
Right.
So, I mean, you gotta kind of put all the payroll, yeah, together.
Do you think your maintenance line for equipment maintenance could be down a little less, due to the fact of the newer vehicles that are in the fleet?
I think that, and then every time I do, I send something out and it blows a hose. Unfortunately, this equipment runs in the worst conditions as well
Oh,
as
yeah.
the worst weather. There's another I have no control of,
Right.
is breakdowns.
Keep it maintained.
Yep.
Hope for the best.
I'm very big on maintenance, servicing and, keeping them clean and scraped and painted so they don't rust.
As I look through here, I look at ideal numbers of where I could take off $5,000. That's what I'm gonna be doing for the next month and a half, is I'm just sitting through everybody's budget and looking for big numbers of $5,000 that you can take off. So, that's why I asked that question there, cause that's a possibility when you look at these numbers from the past. As much as I do believe in maintenance, but I'm just saying though.
But problem is you take-
I'd rather make sure our employees are paid.
Yep.
And that we have the proper staff to do the jobs out there. You know, I know everything goes into one big bowl, and you need a little bit of here and there, but some things are gonna have to be a little bit tighter than others, so.
But the problem is if you take $5,000 off my maintenance budget, then I've got employees standing in the garage because they don't have a piece of equipment to drive.
Right.
We have a lot of equipment, so there should be a lot of things to be able to do, and even if one thing's
I
down,
understand, but
with the money that we've spent over the past,
I know.
this is like
I know.
this is not a harsh conversation to you.
No, no.
But the amount of money this town has spent over the past couple of years on our tractors, on, I mean, all the equipment that we've purchased,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones we've just recently purchased, there shouldn't be any reason that we don't have enough equipment for people to be proactively doing something, so.
Right, yeah. But we only have one grader, one loader, we have a bunch of dump trucks. So if that grader or that loader.
Got a brush
break
cutter,
down-
too.
I mean, I have been, letting the town use my loader at no charge, quite a bit this year. So I mean, I can't do that forever.
You're talking about the loader, right? The one that we have in the pit?
Yep.
And then we have I wouldn't say it's not the same size of the loader,
No.
but there is still the one at the dump that's can be needed, that can be used.
Oh, the backhoe?
Well, it has a dump on the front.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it can, again, it is a backup piece of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
That we paid a lot of money for. I mean,
Yep.
it doesn't do it as quickly,
No, that's a good.
but
quote
it
for
can
that.
load a dump truck.
Yep, and we've been using that in other areas for other things. Yep.
So I'm just saying that there's backup stuff to keep things.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and that's kind of what I was thinking about, if that was something that could take the brush cutter thing for,
That's not quite tractorish.
Yeah, it's not, it's,
It's a backhoe though, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't-
Right, but you couldn't put a mower on it.
no.
I
I mean,
thought
I-
it, like, there's, aren't they like side mowers and stuff that?
It'd be a big project to take that backhoe off and put it over the rail mower on the back of it. And then once you did, it would no longer have a cab. I mean, once you put that in the brush and stuff,
Yeah.
it'd be the end of that poor backhoe. Yeah, no, that's not a, and they don't usually have a bucket on the front because they gotta get around stuff. And they're usually a smaller tractor and, yeah, no, it's not, wouldn't, I don't think that would make a,
We're best off hiring
Too
it.
big.
it's still, yeah, it's a tractor, it's just too big of a tractor for roadside mowing. Yeah.
And again, you've done a great job so far this year. I mean,
Thank you.
compared to years past, you've exceeded my expectations personally, so
Thank you.
this is just,
I'm just trying to get
this is
every,
just talking about money, so it's,
every bit done that I possibly can on the budget I have, and the more money you give me, the more I'll do.
only if it was that easy, right?
Well, we still got a couple months, so a lot can change.
But this is where you're gonna start off at, with these numbers here, then we'll just work from off there.
Yep.
This is where you feel you would like to see it to be.
I feel it's fairly realistic.
Yeah, oh, I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying, but that's, here's your time to change.
Next year going into,
A lot of things that, like the chipper, has been a huge help. Rather than loading brush up and hauling it back. I mean, I thank you guys for that, because that has just been a huge help.
Well, it'd be, you know, I mean, with the equipment that we're buying is where I hope that the hired aspect of things that we're paying for can be dropped significantly.
Well, we weren't.
Because now we have
hiring a
equipment.
chipper, we were hauling the brush and dumping it in the pit.
Right.
So that didn't change anything except making
Make it neater?
making it easier and faster for us to get more stuff done on the side of the road. And safer, because we're not losing brush driving down the road. You know, so yeah, it made it much better.
then the brushes at the pit, what do you do with it?
Yeah, well, we wait for you guys to have your annual party and burn it, I
Yeah, you
guess.
saw all that burn last year.
Yeah, well, well, we didn't, they didn't put me in it, they were dumping it over the bank in, I don't know what was that, that was before my time.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for that, I was only here at the end when they needed the brush.
Do you guys have anything else more for Steve right now, or? I mean, these numbers are new to us, we're not,
Right.
so we still have to take our time to digest. We're not here to decide tonight. We're gonna
Shim and
talk to you
paving.
about some questions, but when we get to the nitty gritty, will be the next conversation we have, when we start taking numbers off. And when we see the overall, and where we
Understand.
think we have to go, and whose department needs to be taken off, and, or what needs to be taken off everybody's department.
Right.
And then we can have an open discussion on what you think of that.
We gotta talk about paving too at some point. What we're gonna do next year and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume that you'd probably want a warrant article for whatever we
Shim,
need.
seal coat paving.
Yeah, I mean, right. We have a lot of catch-up to play, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do.
So, yeah, I mean, that's, well, again, we haven't got to warrant articles, but that's coming up quicker than we know it too, so.
Right, but we want that in his head so that when that time comes, we got,
And like a list of, again, like, we always have the list, and again, I don't have to repeat myself.
last year we were
but
behind the ball.
We need to make sure that we are better informing the residents of Nottingham this year, the reasons why we need the money, and the benefits for them for why this money is necessary for them to vote yes, so we don't go to a default again, where we follow ourselves behind. Before, you know, we don't wanna be too far behind where the catch-up game's not gonna be able to.
Right.
At least now we maybe have a chance to get ourselves back into a more level playing, but. So like when that warrant article, if it's 400,000 or 300,000 or whatever number you feel like it's gonna be necessary, just make sure we get the right information out there for people, so be thinking about that next month of how, what you're gonna need, what roads are gonna be there, what this is gonna be there, so that we can help present it to the public. We will
I'm
talk to you,
set.
yeah, I mean, thank you for this.
Okay,
We will talk to you soon about it.
all right?
Thank you, Steve.
Steve, before you leave,
Yes.
there was one more thing that was included in your packets.
Oh, yeah.
And it has to do with
Come back.
Polly Sander?
No, yeah, I saw that.
folic acid. So this is the option for the newly acquired 1 ton.
Because that other one's no good.
And I wanted him to be able to explain the
So the plan,
original plan.
original plan was to
Put the hydraulic
put
sander.
the hydraulic sander back into 550, however, there's issues with the sander and with the 550. The hydraulic lines, metal lines down the frame, all those need to be replaced and so on and so forth. And this seems like a simpler, easier way for us to go and longer, better in the long run. I've got one of those myself that's 10 years old. I haven't even put a chain in it yet.
Do we need to put the other one out for bid?
Yeah, I mean, it's just sitting there. We actually have that and we have the one off the, but nobody bid on that. Didn't you already put
No,
that?
the hydraulic one's the one that we put out for bid, and nobody bid, we had one bid on it, and
Yeah.
it was
Ridiculous.
So nobody else wants it either. And I asked about trading it in and, well, I got laughed at. So, I don't know. Whatever.
It's metal, right?
Stainless.
Stainless.
Stainless even.
Stainless.
But, yeah.
It's
The nice thing I like, I mean, and I was in the beginning not a fan of these plastic ones until I got one and now I am. But when you oil them, they got a cover, you can close them up, that oil stays on the chain, it doesn't get washed off, sitting outside all summer long. You know, they just, so the chains are lasting longer, the sanders are lasting longer because they're plastic.
What, yeah, but what about the UV rays with the plastic?
Like I said, mine's 10 years old
It just sits in the sun?
and it's still,
The docks that we sell are all plastic, they say, it's the same polycarbonate, it's not,
I don't get it. I mean, they just seem to be,
worst happens is it fades the color.
yeah. And you can fix
Well, I
that
mean,
easy.
plastic's probably come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's no way to convert a hydraulic sander to,
yes.
Sure there is.
And I looked into that, it did not cost
cost prohibitive.
cheaper to buy this one.
How much is this thing?
$7,500
For which one?
for the 2.2 yard, the biggest one. I mean, the truck can work either way with just a plow,
Right.
but if I was hiring a hired truck, I wouldn't take it without a sander.
Right,
So
yeah,
there's
no, I
that.
mean, it makes sense to have the sander. How much is left in ARPA?
well, we have the special highway block
That's what I
funds
meant.
that are.
I guess that's what I meant.
75, did you say?
Yeah.
Yes. And like I say, this makes it a complete truck and eliminates one hired truck.
Yep.
So.
If we
pays
have a
for itself.
driver.
Well, the driver part. I think I have a candidate, but.
So that would be a
still-
part-time driver.
Still
so that
in
would
the,
be still in the
negotiations right now.
part-time. That would still be a person in the part-time one.
Right, yep. But there again, the price of the truck and the price of the sander over the next few years is cheaper than
A hired.
a hired truck
Yep.
for probably 1 year, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I have an old spreadsheet saved on my computer, so we got to get from Betsy in the morning.
We wouldn't want the next one down where we could use it in everywhere.
Use it what?
Splitting, so we have enough to cover.
What's that?
This, the one model down, that could go into every truck that we own?
Why would it, what do you mean?
I'm just saying, 'cause this is just regular 1 ton and 3/4 ton. This is the, what's it, the 2.5, this is for dump
That
wise.
2.2 goes in the 550 or the 350. And we can't put one in the,
Utility truck.
yeah, there we go, thank you.
if they went with the smaller one, they'd be filling it up more.
So you're gonna
I
go
mean-
with the 2.5?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yep.
I mean,
How long does that,
the 1.8 is fine too. I mean, we're still gonna get 2 yards on it. But the dollar price is, I don't know, I don't think there's that much difference in price.
how,
Well, that's what I'm saying, from here, you got the 1.8 and the 2.5, that's why I was asking about the 1.8.
Yeah, but I don't think there's that much of a difference in price for the
How-
two sanders.
how long will the 2.5 last, you know, spreading sand typically?
Well, we're gonna get a little bit more road out of it.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm trying, like,
Depends on the
X
storm.
miles.
how
Yeah, it
much-
depends on the
Well,
storm and.
yeah, I'm
well,
just
it all-
kind of-
it
just
depends
like
on
an
two
average.
different things. If we're putting down sand salt.
Yeah.
With it, if we're putting down, 3 different things, straight sand or straight salt.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the only places we use straight salt are the fire department in here.
Yeah.
Maybe the school. Places that don't want the, in the buildings, the mud and problems in the buildings. Other than that, we use, the dirt roads obviously using straight sand.
Yeah.
So, and the lane miles on salt is more than sand. So, I mean, it's just so many, yeah. But I mean, like, 1-ton sander could probably do, all of Deerfield Road. If it was just dusting, you know what I mean? But if it was the middle, if it was if we were trying to,
Northeast.
it depends on the storm, I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
know, the
no,
next
but-
storm, it might only do Flutter Street.
Yeah.
Depends on what you have for conditions, you know, it's, I mean, if you're just hitting the hills, corners, and intersections.
Yeah.
You can do half the town with a one truck. But
Ice storm.
Right.
ice storm, you might not get out of the parking lot with a whole load. It just, I mean, yeah, to say how far I can go with any of these
Yeah,
is.
no, I was just trying to get a typical, but if it varies that much, then.
I mean, Nottingham's the whole town of Nottingham is a hill, corner, and intersection.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Any more questions?
I'm good.
I think this for people at home, the line items in the budget that we're looking at here, this will all be discussed again at budget meetings and stuff like that. Tonight is just a preliminary for us as a board to talk to the department heads and to see a number and to go over some general questions. This isn't a full budget review on every line item tonight, just so that we're clear. I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thanks, Steve.
Ready, Steve? Close up.
Congratulations, you guys, on a successful Halloween outside party. Everybody says it was wonderful.
Thank you. It was
Busy.
awesome. Busy and fun and exciting. Yeah.
Weather does make a
Parking was
difference,
crazy.
doesn't it?
It does. It does. So we were very thrilled with our turnout. It was wonderful. All right.
First things first.
Okay. Make sure you do the one where I'm shutting my eyes, Steve. You got a proof. Okay, so I'll just start right at the top. I added in certain things, but honestly, I didn't touch a lot of our lines. A lot of our lines have stayed the same. I am still trying to get half the assistant salary into the general fund, for the same reasons as we had last year. She's a full-time position. It's something that our department needs to function at this point. I mean, with the size of our events and the size of our programs, we need to make sure that these positions are secure, and that's the reason. And also it includes that $800 beach gate stipend that we have. So that's that line and my salary as well. Overtime for both my full-timers come out of rec revolving. We took that out last year. no part-time rec salaries in general fund. We did go over postage for the first time ever this year. So I did increase my postage lines to $500. It is really the only way that we can connect with our legacy leaders. We send a monthly postcard every year, and that's pretty much it, along with just small correspondence stuff that we have to send out, but mostly that's what that goes to. Dues and conferences, it does not look like we've spent a lot. In fact, it's a 0, I think. Oh no, it's a 626. We paid for partial, but we will spend that $2,000 on our annual conference, which is in January. So that money will be spent. We are looking for trainings. Oh, sorry. go-
January?
We pay for it before that.
We pay for it the year before.
And we
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
An
would
early
it be
bird
next?
special too.
Yeah, we try to
It
sign
should have
up.
been in
as-
January, so it should have been spent already.
Yes, no. So it's for we're like behind a year. We do it for the year before.
So, okay, so you pay it right before.
Yep. Yep. Our rec training line looks low. We were supposed to go to our state conference this year, but it was 2 days before our Halloween event, so we couldn't swing it. I am looking for other opportunities to try and spend some of that money because we haven't really had a lot of training opportunities this year. So we are looking at stuff coming up in the next couple months as we slow down a little bit. Moving on, our rec park field beach line is really our only big maintenance line. Last year we had 24,000 and I'm keeping that line because we are probably going to hit that with the mowing and the seeding and fertilizing of Marston. I did add in 6,200. That is the quote we received to fix this walkway. This walkway out here by our playground is a disaster. Steve and his guys helped us temporarily fix it, which was great, but we get continuous washout from the side of the building that we had over 5 injuries this year with summer camp. So that's why that's in there. It's not something that I want to see pushed for much longer. We really need to have something that's ADA compliant so that everybody can use our facilities. So that's there. So that's why you're seeing an increase in that line. That's not something that's going to be recurring. That's a 1-year expense.
Your sheets might be a little bit off.
Oh,
There's obviously
Yep.
a line item that was incorrect in here, so I'm just doing
Oh.
a correction on the fly. Go off your
if I'm,
sheet,
if
you're
I'm,
fine.
okay, if I'm going too fast, let me know. I figured this year that we have a rec equipment supplies maintenance, but we also have a rec equipment line. I think it would be easier if we just combined those two lines, so I moved those lines,
Which two?
the rec equipment supplies maintenance
Okay,
combined with rec equipment
okay.
to make that 3,700 instead of 2 separate lines. It's the same type of expenses that we have. So to me, I don't see why we need to. Rec programs, we're gonna keep that at 2,000. That seemed to be a very good number. That was the line that held all of our programs and events, which last year we moved into rec revolving. The benefit to that is we have a little bit more flexibility on what we spend. With a 700 event at Halloween, people at Halloween, we did have to spend a little bit more than we normally would. But we did make a little bit of money back too. We sold concessions, so it kind of gives us that flexibility to put a charge on some things, a small charge.
So is that actual not right? 1,057?
I
Spent so
have a
far
really,
this
I
year.
have an old sheet. Hold on.
Which one are we on?
For what? For the
Rec
programs?
programs?
That, yeah, that's,
For what, the legacy lane?
yeah, we have 1,450 on our end. But we have our 2 biggest attended events coming up November and December. So we cater more and we do like crafts and stuff. So that line will come out close.
Yep.
Our office supply line, I obviously didn't keep it the same, but I kept our normal office supplies the same at 1,200, but I did add $2,000 because my program supervisor and myself, I think, have the 2 oldest computers at this time, and we are in serious need of a computer upgrade. It's very painful to work on them, so that's that cost.
It is. The mouse lags.
And, rec equipment, we moved up into the other rec equipment line. And then rec mileage, we did go over this year as well. So I bumped it to 200. We try and use the van for most of the errands that we can, but those seats don't go down. And with 3 of us, we're going in 3 different directions some days, so I try to keep that as low as I can, but it's hard sometimes to utilize the van for certain things, so. Yeah. That's it.
So right now, it's a significant increase.
Yes,
28%, but it's primarily in
salaries.
that salaries, moving
Right.
from the rec revolving. Attempt number 2.
Yep,
Is it only number 2?
it's only number 2, yeah.
Yep. How did it work with the beach gate this year? All right?
It went fine. I don't think one of them will return. I think
Okay.
one of my gatekeepers did it to help us. And I don't think she enjoyed it. So, that will be a struggle to fill next year if the beach opens as normal. It's not a lot of money,
No.
but it got done, and it got done last minute, so I'm hopeful one of them will return, but I don't know if the other one will, so, yeah.
And so far, no problems with the beach? Was it all right? We have any issues? I didn't hear of
From
any.
my end, I didn't hear about a lot, but Vaughn might be able to answer that better than I can.
Swim lines are down.
Swim lines are down.
Thanks.
I think Dawn helped, and both Johns, I helped
We put them out.
put them up. Thank you.
We didn't take them out.
You
We
pulled them
pulled
out.
out most
You
of
pulled
them,
them
and then
out.
one needed some extra help, so Dawn helped
Dawn
us.
helped with the
Yeah.
last piece.
It is
Yeah.
kind of hard, so we appreciate that.
Yeah,
Pulling it.
yeah.
Good.
It's not really an expert, we're not
No.
really experts
No.
at
It's usually
swim
very
lines.
cold when we put it in too, so.
And so the walkway out here, we gonna put gutters up to prevent it from washing out constantly?
You thinking of paving it?
I would love to pave it.
That's the.
Was it just sand?
That's
now?
the estimate we received this
Okay.
couple months ago, from Manchester Paving, I believe. The first, he broke down the flat, which was 16,000, which that's been on our list for years as well and really needs to happen, but in my opinion, the $6,000 walkway, it's a lot of money on my budget, I know, and it makes my budget go up, but it would solve that problem for a longer time.
And that's the door that kids go in and out of for summer camp.
Yep.
That's why we had so many issues, because kids were tripping and it's dark out there, but. it's
We can also
pretty
try to
bad.
find another way to fund it so it doesn't come out of your budget, but we can see about that,
Okay. Yeah,
you know? It's not actually a playground area, it's more of an emergency,
right,
because all these doors are emergency exits that go to that area.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there are other qualifications for what that goes for besides, you know,
Yeah.
the wreck of the kids, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. But it's just been bad, and it used to be bricks, and the kids would play with the bricks, and
Throw them at the building.
it was awful. So, this was a much better temporary fix, but it's a temporary fix for sure.
Halloween went well.
It did.
We had no idea that many people were gonna come.
Will we do anything different next year?
We need to have a meeting about parking. Parking was crazy. We were lucky
you can do
enough,
about
what?
There's nothing you can do about parking.
There's
Well,
nothing.
They just started parking on the fields without any permission, so.
Well, I heard that. That's, I mean, the space you have is the space you have.
It is,
That's.
yeah.
I know, but I think if we team up with if we knew ahead of time, I would have been like, hey, Fawn,
Yeah.
do you have any
What are some
advice?
solutions?
Yeah.
And
Right.
we would have advertised this sooner, park on Flutter Street,
Yeah.
park on, park
So we
other
can do
places, so we can
preventive.
do more to do that, but you're not gonna stop people from parking wherever they want.
Right.
I had my husband down there, the best voluntold there is, trying to direct people and keep people safe, and it worked out fine. But that first 2 hours of the event is bumping. So we're very happy with the turnout, but we were like, whoa. Yeah, we didn't expect 700, but we were very excited with it. And Bridget just had her finale for flag football over at Marston, and it was a beautiful day last Saturday, and we had 648 people throughout the day come through. So parking down there
It's also a disaster.
was also a disaster, but it was spaced out. People were all down Case Road and on McCrillis, but, yeah, so, our things are getting bigger. People are coming out and supporting, which is really great. It was a beautiful day. That also helps. You had grandparents come out and kids come out, So,
The day makes a huge difference.
it does. Yeah.
Town hall maintenance. Might find a line item for that.
Right.
It's not on there.
Yeah, so the CIP committee has seen the request. They'll be putting forward a recommendation to you for items to consider for potential warrant article. I think we're targeting December 1st.
Something around December 1st, yeah. Right.
So your budget's really, I mean, besides that, which is needed, but
Yeah.
do you think you're gonna get the proper computers that you're gonna need for $1,000 each? I've never priced out a computer in so long, I have no
I
idea.
asked
what they
Ellen.
go for.
Yeah, we have a quote. Our IT company provides them, and the quote that I have, it's $750 for a mini desktop PC, and then it's about $100 to transfer the data and get everything up and running on it.
Is that a mini top?
Nope, that's a laptop. Mini computers just, it's like this big.
Like at the doctor's office.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna need?
It's gonna be better than what I have.
Desktop workstation. Instead of traditional tablets, they're just,
It's amazing how small they make
fit
them
on the
now.
size.
Yeah, as long as it has enough storage, and I trust that Ellen.
That's that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, we do a lot of internet-based things, so the internet-based things, we don't need.
$250 more to get her a regular laptop's gonna do more than she's gonna need than.
No, what we do is we
Let's
tell
not be
them
pound foolish here.
which workstation we're replacing, they know what software runs on it and what the capabilities are, so.
Yep, yep.
And a workstation's fine, you don't need to take it anywhere or anything.
No, we thought laptops were the way to go, and they are not for us. When we go over and do kid programming at the school, there's no way we
Want
can.
them there.
No, we can't do any work, which
Courtney's
is
eyesight is also awful, so I don't think getting a laptop would be good for her.
need a little bigger screen. But yeah, I think that is good. We need to transition back to desktop computers in our office, and hopefully once we're in here, too, that would be great.
Okay.
I think I'm all set.
Okay,
Yep.
You good?
You guys?
Thank you.
great, thank you.
I'll get those line items swapped and sort of updated spreadsheet.
What's that?
There was a few of the line items that were swapped around on that, I think the way that the data transferred on the VLOOKUP. I'll update your spreadsheet.
No.
Fun, just send it to me. Alright, so. Fire and rescue. Fill it in on the fly, so you have to tell me what the numbers are.
these are not up to date.
Well, you have your default budget, the actual expenditures, we don't have the 2025 request filled in yet.
All right.
Are we gonna do this, are you gonna,
What do you want me to do?
Do you want to talk about just the line items that are changing?
yeah, go line items that are changing, and then just put the totals at the bottom. Then we'll see it on
So,
our spreadsheet later.
our idea is just kind of changing, like grouping them, some of them together. Some of them are, we have a line for publications. We don't get magazines. People want information, they go online now, so there's money there. But prices of protective gear have gone up significantly because everything's PFAS free now. So we were talking about shifting that. There's the publications is a $1,700 line item, and putting it with protective gear, making it 11,700 rather than 10,000. So we weren't really planning on cutting anything. New to the budget, a lot of the stuff's waited till the end of the year. Uniforms, trying to hold as much money as we could and get the stuff done that we needed to get done. Equipment maintenance is one that's significantly underspent. A lot of the small engines, one of our full-time staff was pretty hands-on with that stuff, took care of, like, we didn't send out chainsaws, generators, we haven't done any of that, it's all been taken care of inside.
You still with us?
What's that? Is he still with us? He's with us part-time per diem. He's a
Per diem.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Full-time salary is significantly underspent due to being down one or two throughout the year. Right now, we're just down to one full-time. In turn, makes the part-time salary, higher. Just, so that is, same with the overtime. Overtime's still underspent.
So do those numbers work for us? Do you think?
They're working now, I mean, overtime would go down if the full-time spot was filled.
Yep.
Part-time would go down, so I think that's a pretty even
Workable.
wash across the line, right? You see service contracts is overspent. Not quite sure why, like, if something could have been plugged into that line that was supposed to be in another line, or that was previously in another line, you know what I'm saying? It was,
Coded wrong.
yeah, not sure what was pulled out of that. I mean, everything's pretty even. The fire department's always been pretty close budgeted.
How are things going?
They're going. It's a struggle.
Every day's a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the gases, I mean,
Yeah.
We've gone through the Wex card, and it's just a matter of they're topping off, so they're not very large expenditures.
So our ambulance comes out of a different,
Yeah.
ambulance fuel comes out of the ambulance, so this is strictly, fire trucks and the pickup truck. Prices, I mean, this is all new since the cards,
yeah,
so this was back when we were buying it, either in bulk here or buying it at the pump, so.
I mean, it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's very
No,
nice to
not-
see, and we're not, it's not something that is gonna get significantly moved either direction by a storm, you know what I mean? You might spend
Right.
a couple $100, you're not gonna spend a couple $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at that could move. Vehicle maintenance is gonna be spent right when you think you're good,
Realize you're not.
right when you think you're good, right? Get another tank
Well, I mean, according to this, I mean, with X amount of time to go, you're not gonna go over budget,
Doesn't look that way.
which is, thank you.
Which is good.
But you know, that just, I have to, not being critical on you, I'm just asking, like, the training item seems down.
So the training, a lot of the trainings after COVID and whatnot, where the prices significantly dropped. If I had somebody in a fire 2 class, it was $150 to take the class.
That's it?
So the prices went down, some classes were free. I have 2 in class right now that I haven't been billed for yet, and I have 3 waiting for classes right now, so it's,
We're gonna spend a little more on that. And I just, training's important for, in your field, so it's why I just wanted to make sure that we're actually,
yeah, we encourage full-time staff. I have one that he's going through an inspector class right now. I have a person in fire 2. I have 2 new that want to be medically trained, so they're gonna go through an EMT class.
perfect.
What's the EMT class cost? Do you know?
It's usually under $1,000.
Okay,
It's what it's been, under $1,000.
yep, good.
Is some of that down because of we're not getting as many volunteers now, or?
No. No, so, I mean, you're hiring people that are fully trained, so you're not sending them to school.
Right.
So, and once you're trained, you're trained. You know, you have trainings, in-house trainings that are paid for. Unless somebody's gonna go the next step, you know, from a basic EMT to an advanced EMT, but it's a big commitment, you know, it's not everybody's goal, you know?
Any word from ALS?
There's talk at the Seacoast Chiefs level of trying to buy it up. There's some talk.
All it is now.
That's what we're getting through.
Beth Israel isn't backing down.
No.
What is the bottom line number? I can't see it.
We don't have one.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
So, right, now's the time.
Well, I'm just, I mean, I've asked you a bunch of questions on what I saw in the others, I was like,
No, so,
You made it.
we talked, you know, we've talked about the chief's position. It's been a very hot topic.
Yep.
I personally, as the chief, think it's time that, I think you're doing the town a disservice by not having a in-house, at least part-time position. I think somebody needs to be there. I think it's gonna help morale, it's gonna help retention, it's gonna help recruiting. I mean, somebody needs to be there, at least part-time, in my opinion.
okay,
So,
that's the line.
that
item.
said,
Yep.
the chief stipend would go away, and there'd have to be a figure in that, some greater. Don't know what that looks like, or what the process is, so after this, it has to be a warrant article, the town voted on, which doesn't go into effect for a year, like, what's, you know, this is a process that needs to, something needs to be done.
Well, like everything, everything's growing and changing and the town's doing it, so. As many people wanna keep things, keep it the same,
You can't.
you can't.
You can't have.
It's not, it
you
doesn't
can't
happen.
have staff without administration. You can't have in-house, without in-house leadership. You can't, they're all, you know, they're not,
It's not the same department it was?
it's not the same world it was.
No.
That's more clear
It's
right
not the
there.
department. It has nothing to do with Nottingham, has nothing to do with Nottingham Fire. I mean, everybody wants to talk when Nottingham doesn't make a call in Nottingham, but nobody wants to talk when Nottingham goes to Northwood, because nobody goes to Northwood. You know, it's real.
And that's not only your department.
This is real, right?
Right.
Okay, we're in every other surrounding town, and that's what we do.
You've done a good job. Personal opinion.
So we're doing the best with what we have. We're continuing trying to hire. We're advertised right now through the state. Looking to fill one more full-time one more full-time slot. I mean, I take as many per diems as I can get, once you think the schedule's full.
Something
Next
happens.
month- The next month it's not full.
Right.
You know, it's the joys of per diem. They're all hungry for money this month, next month they have it, they don't care. It's tough. So, that's where we're at.
So really, we can't come up with a bottom line until we figure that out.
Well, that will be on discussion, I take it coming up soon?
I think so.
Yep.
Probably a lot sooner than we thought. Okay.
Needs to happen, though.
Good?
Yep.
Good for
Yeah.
now?
Good for now.
For now.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Oh, where's my support? You know, I have the biggest budget. She's that son. Is that son or is that a wife? Sometime. Good evening.
Bring that stick for any special reason?
Bring what?
It's a ruler.
Yeah. Does it bring back memories?
Does. Not good ones.
Hold on, get my picture.
Why don't we focus on this? No, I'm ready for this.
Okay, here, sorry.
Good. This is much better than the side view.
Okay. I still wonder where these pictures go, but
They go,
do they go?
yes,
Okay.
but I want you to know, she was one of the attendees for the 700, and she scared the hell out of me.
Oh, of the festival. I wasn't even dressed up. Okay. Good evening. Do you want to go line by line, items that went up? What would you like? Starting at the top.
Just, again, we're not doing line by line tonight. We're just,
Okay.
we're doing the significant increases that we
Okay.
see in order to get.
Sure, yeah.
This is to get us, the board here, back into full budget mode where.
Good.
The good cuts have to come and the bad cuts have to come.
Okay, I don't want a bad cut, that seems crazy. So I did clean up some lines because I think that's what, people like that, so, John, you'll be happy, John Decker. I moved, just to keep it making sense, the PD salary line, it went up because I moved the administrative assistant salary into that as well. I mean, she's a full-time employee. We don't have her out on an island of her own now, she's just with her salary. I think that makes sense.
So it's just combined. Okay.
Yeah, just combine it, yeah, exactly. Everything else going down stays the same. Prosecutor services, gonna go up 3%. That's per my prosecutor. She prosecutes for about 6 other agencies, that's what she requested, across the board. I'm willing to pay that, she does a great job. It's hard, to find, somebody that can do that service. And she's been on with us for about 4 years and does a really, really good job. I'm not willing to sacrifice that, so, I wouldn't be able to find one anyway, even cheaper, they'd be more expensive. She does kind of a discounted rate because, like I said, she, is a prosecutor for other police departments. Any questions on that? Nope. Just moving down, training, I did increase it by, $500. Again, I had told many people, well, many, only John, that's been on the board since I took over. Ever since 2020, in let's call it like what it is, we're going through a police reform. I think that you guys are probably well aware of that. And with that said, they've increased training. We used to only have to do 8 hours of service. And every year now, we have to do more hours. So that reflects that. That's standard. I mean, we have so many standard trainings that we have to do to keep certifications and all the equipment that we have. And, you know, every year we have to do, you know, implicit bias, de-escalation. I mean, there's so many mandatory trainings that we have to do. So that reflects that increase.
So you're 8 hours formally, previously.
Sure, it's now, this year is 32 hours, and it's gonna go up to 40.
Yeah, so
and
it's
that's-
like 1 day to a whole week.
Right, correct. And again, that's the minimum, and I think John Morris said it earlier, especially in our kind of services, police, fire, you really don't want to do the minimum. You really want your officers to know what they're doing. It reflects on, obviously, the overall safety of the officer in the community. but liability as well. Well-trained, save money. So that's that. Any questions on that? No, moving on. Same thing with uniforms. I went up just a couple $100. I noticed, and Matt knows too, the fire chief just said it, everything that we buy now for uniforms has gone up significantly. We use Ben's uniform in Amesbury, Massachusetts. They're really like the only place that we can use for a uniform, so they really kind of like pigeonhole it. They got great service too. They've been in business for like 100 years. But everything costs more money, so. And 9 officers really, and by the time we get our ballistic vests and boots and coats and different things, I mean, it adds up pretty quickly. Does that make sense?
9 officers are fully staffed?
When we're fully staffed, yeah.
Right, 'cause you don't have 9 today.
Oh, we have 8. Yeah, yeah. I wear 2 boots, John. I wear double. I'm just kidding.
Just making sure the math that,
Yes,
the
yes.
math that I counted today, I'm like,
So yes, for the people at home, we have 9 officers usually, but we're short 1 full-timer still. Still have 1 open position. Okay, but you want to plan for the best, and I plan to fill that, so. The next thing is this office supplies line. You cut it last year. I'm gonna bring it back up to 2,000. We've made sacrifices in that line so far, with certain things, and I want to bring it back up to the level that it was.
What did we end up sacrificing or whatever that we
Like,
needed?
we actually need a couple of different toners for the printers that would actually make like a lot of stuff that we do better, but we're just going like black and white, doing just certain things. There's a lot of, stuff that like my administrative assistant will use to prep like casework and stuff for the prosecutor. And we're not able to buy some of those supply, like, it's not that we're not able, but we're just kind of like makeshifting things to do it, and, that's not a good way to do business, so. It's $500, doesn't need to be cut. If we can go back up, we're gonna go back up, we're gonna spend it. Everything else, same thing with, the cruiser maintenance. Cut it last year to be for the default budget. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that you're probably all aware of what happened to the 2023 cruiser recently with the transmission.
oh, that's one I just saw, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the gray one, right?
It is, yeah. And I'm working with Ford to try to get them to pay for it because I think it's ridiculous.
I saw them drive, that was driven on Wednesday.
Yeah, so what happened was a couple weeks ago, the transmission went bad. The coolant, I mean, I'm not a mechanic, excuse me if I'm misspeaking, but a coolant case cracked, coolant leaked into different areas of the transmission and caused it to do bad things. We brought it to McFarland, which is who services our cruisers, because they're the most local dealership that deals with it. And they said that I was 210 miles over the warranty. Which again, I'm fighting through like their whole finance department. We fixed a cruiser, we had to fix it, $4,700 worth of damage.
I signed that check.
It's
I was
huge.
gonna ask why-
Right, it's huge.
Why
It's
we have one go over the
ridiculous.
top of that price.
But we have to do it. I mean, we need a cruiser, so. And then actually, this weekend, got a phone call late at night. Cruiser did the same thing. Malfunctions, started bucking.
Well, then here's a question for you,
Yeah.
not to be off the subject.
No, it's fine.
Where's our F-150?
It's at OME, still getting outfitted.
It's been a while.
It's been 3 weeks up there, yeah. I mean, it had to come and get lettered, gets lettered up, and so it was down at, my mind is shot. The place in yes, thank you, the place in Stratford to get lettered. That took a little while, and then now it's at OME, took about 3 weeks, so. Everything just takes time. It's annoying, believe me, I want it to be here.
Well, I mean, yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
like it arrived here 3 months ago almost.
Yeah, I
and it's
mean, we're not
saying,
like any
"Hey,
other
why
PD
aren't
though.
we-"
Like if you go to any other PD and you ask them how their cruisers, I mean, I mean, people still wait. If people use two-way, they're waiting even longer. We use OME, they're actually a lot quicker. Maybe Ellen knows a little bit about, you work for other municipalities. Takes a long time. I'm at the mercy, John, of them. It's not that I don't want to drive it. Yeah, I'm not like, hold it up there. I'm like, where are you? I mean, I'm on the phone with them constantly, so.
So, the transmission got fixed,
It did.
and then it's like still acting up?
So it got towed on like emergency towed again to McFarland. And they called me today and said when they fixed the other problem, it was their fault. They're gonna they're gonna cover this one, so
Okay,
this
I
won't
hope
cost us
so.
anything. But it was the, coolant coil, it got caught on it was something that they did. And I'm just beside myself, to be
Right,
honest with you,
okay.
and,
Well, right, so it takes so we have the loss of the vehicle,
right.
but at least they're covering it.
They're covering, yeah, this part of it, right, but not the 4,700.
No,
Which
obviously.
it's still being disputed, and I'm really upset about
That's a
that. I think
different-
that's
that's
ridiculous.
Ford.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's not McFarland.
Right,
That's
correct.
Ford-
That's the,
Ford-
right, that's from
Ford.
factory, and it should have never happened. I was told that was an anomaly, blah, 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 blah. So hopefully we can get some of that money back. That's what I'm trying to do. Because if you think about it, that just took the whole line. Like almost $5,000 of that line. So that's, you can understand the math on that. So I would just bring it back up again to 8,000. And then everything else, nothing changed.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get this thing outfitted.
It does, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a lot of equipment, and they gotta, everything's electronic. They gotta put everything in it, and, the in-car camera system has to be put back in it, and it's above my pay grade. They, kudos to them, they gotta do it. But they're short-staffed too. They deal with what we deal with. They have people that come and go and leave, and then they're stuck with two guys doing an install, or one guy.
How many miles do you put on a cruiser a year?
It depends. They're rotated, so, we used to do every shift, the cruiser was rotated, so first shift had a cruiser, second, so all the cruisers get used. So right now, there's like two or three people assigned to a cruiser, and that's to save the mileage.
Just 20,000 at least, right?
Yeah, I would say about that, yeah, if not more. I'm trying to think of like the night guys who.
Would Ford still give you the same 3-year 36 on theirs?
Yeah, so it is. It's 3 years, 36,000. But then there's that, don't quote me on this, powertrain or whatever, 50,000.
Yeah, that's-
So that cruiser should have been
That's
covered
the
under
transmission and the
50,000.
engine, right.
Right. So I think we're gonna get that money back if I can just, keep yelling at them.
Well, you're doing too many miles anyways, because I'm just thinking. Well, I say this because, you wonder when they consider we actually got the F-150 and when that warranty started.
Right, no, I know, now you're worried about that. You're worried about that.
But
Something to
you
worry
put too
about.
many miles, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah,
No, yeah.
I kept the gas too,
Not
this.
getting many miles while it's.
Yeah, you kept the gas the same. even
I
though
did,
you're-
because I'm scared, I don't know what it's gonna be, and I talked to Ellen a lot about that. We had very transparent conversations, and,
I'm not saying gas is cheap at $3 a gallon, but it's a lot better than it was at
I
$4.50.
know.
We're also paying Rack Plus. 'cause
Right.
All of theirs over the fuel.
Right, so that's a plus right there. Good to know.
yeah, see, I told you that fuel cell would cost, see, when- Steve.
And it's working all right?
It is, yes, it's perfect. Yeah, no issues. Thank God. No, it works good. Yeah, the guys love it. Easy, right there. Something, anomaly situations, everybody, power goes down, it's easy to just get gas right there. So it works out for us really well. And I think highway department and fire, well, at least highway uses some of it, for some of their cars, so. Right, there you go, see? I'm wondering where the rec gets their gas. Oh. Is it?
Well, it shows that right now you're only at, a difference of 3.5%.
Yeah,
so-
3.48, yep.
Fashionably late, sorry about that.
No worries. We're moving right along too.
I would just like to note that a lot of that increase was absorbed right here. Putting the cruiser back in, which was funded by ARPA.
yeah, thank you for that, but,
Right.
yeah, that
Right.
was,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's,
Yeah, yeah, the cruiser's back, yeah, I mean, it's always been in the budget, but you're right, last year we paid for, you guys, did that, so,
That,
that was
those
great.
funds saved us.
Yes, huge with the defaulted budget, so we hope that that doesn't default again with the tax cap, because that's huge.
Then we won't have it, because
Yeah.
it's done.
I mean, again, you
Will we be
know,
going for another pickup truck next year too?
no, just an SUV, yeah,
Just an SUV, gonna.
an SUV, yeah, and that's the price, that's everything, you know, that's everything. Oh, so that's the other thing, which, you know, I don't mind telling you guys, so they're gonna give us 3,000 for a trade-in for the, cruiser that we're gonna be trading in, which is our car one, which is a 2021, which has 70,000 miles on it. And I know that sometimes you guys like to like you were thinking about repurposing
That
a
was-
vehicle or something.
That was the COVID one, right?
It might have been, yeah, yeah. I mean, we have 2 COVID cruisers. If that's
That
what,
was the one that, wasn't that the one that needs the most maintenance?
no, that
That's
was the
gone.
one that we're,
It
got rid
seems
of.
like it's low miles.
So this one's a good one. I'm just saying, like, if I'm not trying to sell my cruiser or something. I mean, they're only gonna give us $3,000 and they'd be smart for the
This-
town.
Okay, so
to-
this one's not the one with all the
No,
problems.
this is a great it's a great cruiser, it's in great condition, it
It's
only
only
has
got 70
69,000 miles on it, and, you know, I think it would be good for another department, that wouldn't be, I mean, I would recommend that.
That might be good for like,
Building code enforcement.
Yeah,
How many thousand miles on it?
69,000,
yeah, that would make sense.
instead of reimbursing mileage
Right.
and having them.
John's has a problem with the mileage, he thinks, oh, well, then why are you trading it in? They're hard miles, John.
Well, right.
Yeah, they're patrol miles, and we can,
I know, you know, I play two, you know,
no,
I understand where you're coming from.
yeah, I mean,
If
they're,
you're sitting here as a resident, you might be saying to yourself, well, it's a 2021 and it's only got 69K.
they've driven code, fast, slow,
know.
this, I mean, a transmission
Under
just went,
2015.
a transmission just went in a cruiser.
How many hours is on it?
Oh, I
you
don't,
tell?
yeah. I can't tell you off the top of my head, no, but
No,
it does,
no, but
it does
the-
log the,
does the
no, you're
computer
right.
logs the hours,
It's,
right?
it's important, because if
Right,
you're like in
'cause
the
that's-
voting world, that's huge. I mean, it's
Right.
not miles, it's hours on the engine.
Yeah, oh, I know. I'm very familiar.
I know, you know, you're.
I know.
So that's the number you really gotta
Sure,
look at.
exactly. And again, you guys know that. And again, for the taxpayers at home, of course, these cars are idling, they're going through different gears at different, you know, they're not driven like a, you know, a regular motorist. They're driven like first responders that,
They're driven like the people who drive down 101.
there you go, exactly, probably. And there's a lot of research on that too. You could, you know, just look it up, what that means. You know, even when they sell those at their dealership, I mean, they have to disclose if it was a police cruiser or not. It's different. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's it. Like you guys keep saying, this is the first meeting. I'm sure we'll discuss more.
How much it go? How much it cost to strip the cruiser? So it's down to just like a sellable vehicle to anybody.
I mean, my quotes involve like the stripping of it and the reinstallation. Yeah, I don't know how to break that down for you. I
I'm
mean,
just curious.
yeah, I mean, you know, I could get you that.
You know, because
Yeah.
if this went.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
If
yeah.
this car went
It-
out, say we don't need the town, but if we went out and set into bid just before we get to the things,
Mm-hmm.
and we have it stripped and say, hey, listen, it's ready to go, could this car possibly fetch 10 grand? I mean, it's not that old, it's
I mean,
71,000
yeah.
miles on it. I mean, a new one of these could be 45, it's just
You mean like,
all-wheel drive, there's a lot of.
right, you mean the town, you guys would wanna like sell a car in the car business?
I'm just, hey, I you look at ways to grab
No, I
revenue.
know what you're saying.
Right, we are in that business.
I
So we're
don't
selling
know.
Sanders, we're selling
I don't
other
know.
used equipment for the town.
Sure,
So it's not, it's
Sure,
being
the
sold
Kelly
as
Blue Book
is.
value might be, you know, way more, and again,
Three
they would
seems
have to.
awful, very,
Very low.
very low for the dealer, whoever you're buying the car from.
Yeah, and that could go up. She said maybe $2,000 because this is again they're trying, just like we all talk about how we project our budgets. I mean, she's trying to give me an estimate of possibly a year and a half from now. You know what I mean? Over a year from now. You know, that's what they're getting. We use the safe bid. We use the same people. They're giving us the best deal. I mean, you know, certainly I could be a car salesman and try to go out and, you know, give it to the best seller, but I leave that up to the powers
We're
to
not,
be.
we're not going to
Yeah.
that stage here.
Right.
We're just asking about the value for what it could be worth. We're not asking you to go to
Right.
sell cars, we're not trying to be in the car business.
Yeah, but I don't know the
Somebody
answer
just
to your
says-
question, is what I'm saying. I don't know.
It seems very low, just,
Right.
and again, it's not your.
It's probably because of the, whatever they're facing, you're right, that business
Yeah.
of car dealership, and I can't speak to that, because that's not what I'm in.
And it's just money that if the town can,
Right,
when we tell you, or I'll tell you whenever we get there, say, hey, guess what? There's $5,000 gone off your budget somewhere, and you're telling me, no, you can't. And I'm telling you, well, if we sold the crew, I don't know, everywhere $5,000 comes, or X amount of money comes important at this 4% budget. So,
right, correct, yes.
wherever we can bring in extra revenue from to the town in order to benefit is what we're just trying to do. And that's becoming, when you're purchasing something or when you're selling something, we
Yeah,
wanna
like I
make
said,
sure
I
that
think
we're
a great way to
maximizing the
repurpose that is to use it if somebody,
But
if
what
you
if we have
have
nobody that needs it?
a need. It sounds like there was a need, but who am I don't know. If there's not, sell it,
We've always had a need, I think.
right,
Alright,
I mean, we
maybe
didn't-
the rec needs
We
it.
didn't replace the
right.
last cruiser that was transferred over to the highway department that we salvaged.
Yeah, I know about that one.
So there's that, the fact that we're paying almost the equivalent of the trade value in mileage reimbursement for somebody to use their personal vehicle.
Alright. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
He just walked in, what would he ask me?
He could have been thinking about this long, on his way here
You wanna
and.
sell my car?
Absolutely. I got a new driver next year, I'll buy it.
I know, exactly.
There you go.
That's great.
Get them with that,
My driveway looks like a used car parking lot.
If you don't think for a second I didn't fight with the rep over that too, and like get the, I mean, she was like, that is what it is, you know what I mean? Have fun going to any other dealership and getting it. She didn't say it like that,
Dealership's
'cause
not gonna give it
she's
to
so sweet, but,
You can send it to auction.
yeah, I mean, whatever you guys choose to do. But, that's what it is. I mean, we're all talking, if what ifs anyway, because, I mean, again, we could be on a default, right? Nothing could get approved,
Right, might need it.
right?
right?
Hope
So,
not, but.
yeah, so we're hoping that everything goes well and.
I'm good.
You all set?
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, chief.
No, no problem. I'm here for you.
Have anybody else present to present? So we either start going through some of the other, we do have a non-public on, so what is your wish to proceed?
What was that?
We don't have anybody else that needs to present, so I mean, we can go through some of the other budgets. We do have a non-public on, is what I was saying, so, for timing.
Which ones haven't you gone through yet, just so I'm sorry?
We have done library, police, fire rescue,
Highway.
highway. So if you want, I did plug in figures for the recycling center.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
It's always a fun one for me.
Recycling center can be found on page 8. I didn't do much for changes within this budget. I kept the salary the same. We have 3 part-timers over there working about 31 hours per week each.
Don't we know that we need a fourth?
I don't necessarily know that we need a fourth. It is nice to have somebody on standby to use as a fill-in if there's a vacation or other absence. I think the general rule has been that we don't operate the facility with one person on at any time just for safety reasons, so there's always 2 there. Having the third to help with,
But like somebody wants to take off a Saturday, you need somebody to cover for that 3, because running the place with 2 people on a Saturday is
it's
nuts.
crazy. Right.
So I mean, that's why, is it budgeted in here that we're gonna have, is that 4th
This is
person?
only budgeted for the 3 part-timers.
Well, maybe we should actually be, I mean,
Well, let's be mindful of the what we're looking at here.
I mean, if you're talking during summer peak periods, I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 months of an additional 8 hours.
If we didn't have a tax cap, we'd be all right. You could say that, but we do.
Yeah, but this is a vital service for the people of the town. As much as, hey, trust me, I would love to charge everybody a small fee.
I know you would.
That is. But let's not go, if one of, it's not fair to those guys, that if they wanna take off a Saturday, we have 3 on there, and they need to take off Saturday to go to a wedding, or they have something that goes on, instead of working all the Saturdays, we need somebody that can back them up to have the 3 on there. This does not show we have that 4th person. And that's where I'm just saying is that this number here,
So
and
like
again,
Alan
if
said,
it's a part-timer, it says this guy's only gonna work for the town probably
as needed.
10 times a year instead of 50 out of the 52.
Is there some kind of temp agency or whatever? How do we back up something like that?
We had somebody that was stepping in, the beginning half of the year, they were only available on Fridays and Saturdays to help out, but that availability has dwindled down, I think that stopped like end of July.
Right.
So, I mean, potentially, it would be nice to have a couple of people on a call log, hey, are you available to cover this shift?
Would any, like, the part-time people from the highway department be interesting?
Yeah, but they could be more expensive because they could be now overtime.
Exactly.
Well, if they're part-time, they wouldn't go into overtime, or you wouldn't put them on that, but if you're planning ahead of time.
But I think it'd be better if we had somebody that actually, and again, just open discussions, what we're just here talking about, but having somebody that has a little bit of experience there, that maybe could fill, so that we don't send somebody in, and he's just like, hi, I'm here. And you go, what do you know? Nothing?
Right.
Well, what good are you to sit here besides a body with a shirt on that says Nottingham? I mean, so, and again, we're not talking, I mean,
Yeah, part of the problem is.
we might be paying this guy, it might, or whoever might work, it might be a total of 80 hours that we're gonna spend over the course of the whole year for them to fill in whenever they need.
Well, that's what we said before, not increase the staff to 4, but have a part-time person.
But we're not budgeting in for that.
Well,
That's
you
where I'm
are,
going with this.
because you're not gonna pay the guy if he's not working, right?
Yes, part-time, well, I mean, if they do accrue time off, they accrue 6 hours of vacation time per month,
Right.
so potentially you are,
Right, and so that's.
6 hours per month?
per month.
Yeah.
A part-time employee who works a regular schedule,
Accrues time.
30 hours, and they accrue time of 6 hours, paid time off.
So is that time budgeted for,
For the coverage, to cover that vacation absence, no.
right, and that's probably what we need, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we were going on 80 hours, I mean, we could throw $1,500 in there with 80 hours of coverage. That's what that's gonna do.
The hardest thing, I think, is finding somebody.
That wants to work Saturdays in the summertime,
A random Saturday, yeah,
during the summertime, because that's when,
we really
That's when
need.
most of the shortages happen.
John?
Steve's volunteering?
No.
Yep, he raised his hand.
3 part-time employees at the recycling center period.
3 employees that are working 30-something hours a week, correct?
So there's no full-time,
No.
okay.
Right, the other option would be to get a person at regular scheduled person.
I'm not even-
And open the recycling center longer and kind of have like a rotating Saturday schedule or something.
That's not where we're going with tonight on this.
No.
My more is when we're looking at the number here, is that do we budget in an extra $2,000 to $3,000 to figure if we have the person to come in that is gonna work occasionally? Or do we leave it flat at this where
I mean, it's just struggling with keeping it flat. Even for the people that work there, for the hourly pay, you know, is it right to keep it flat?
Yeah.
So, you know, cause you know, you start going down here and that number could be 95. Could we afford to give some of those people, guys that work there a raise? Would it be helping we get more people for future?
Well, wouldn't that all be part of the merit compensation?
Yes.
pool? Right?
Sure. But we know,
Which is, I mean.
we know where things get on the chopping block comes. Guess what? That number can move, so would it be easier to put in as a, you know, a small salary increase now instead of having to worry about relying on that money there, where if we go somewhere else, we might not have that money. Okay, just I mean, like when anybody just says, who wants to work the Thursday, Friday, you guys just came out right now, so, you know, if any line here probably should be, I don't think that line should be flat. That's my opinion, but again, we're gonna talk about this even more detail coming up, but just let me word my 2 cents in right now, that number I don't think should stay flat.
Duly noted.
Okay, go on.
Okay, outside of that, I think the only other numbers that I adjusted from.
Do we think that the fee, I mean, collection fees are gonna stay the same?
It's really gonna depend on the number of calls, and, I mean, we're contracted with Waste Management for another 4 years, but there are other hauling factors in there. I mean, there are certain things that go out through, sorry, that was, Waste Management handles our regular household trash, and, Casella hauls all the rest of our goods for us, so it's going to be a matter of transportation.
We locked in with both of them?
No, Casella is, it's an open contract.
Okay.
Waste Management is locked in. I don't know, I mean, like, if we go on forecasting, we're on track to be okay at the 240,000 that we plugged in for the default figure. But if we go back to what we expended in 2023, it was 252,000, so it really is a matter of, you know, fuel surcharges and everything else. Do I think it's a comfortable figure? Yes, that's why I plugged it in there.
Right.
But it probably is cutting it close. Trying to keep in mind the fact that we're also subjected to the 4% cap on this default budget. We only have about $192,000 overall to work with, over and above the approved, or the default budget figure, so.
Yeah, you put that cruiser, and the cruiser was, how much was that cruiser?
45.
45, yeah.
After the trade was
Yeah.
factored.
Again, employee retention. But, all right.
But I do agree that the merit compensation, if we can build that back into the budget, that would be somewhere we would address.
Because in the grand scheme of things, whether it's on individual line items for salary or if it's over there, it's the same dollars.
Yeah. And that
Where
way.
you're moving it around to, it's the bottom line.
Well, again, right, it's always comes to the bottom line, but, you know, when you're trying, I think, to explain to somebody and say, listen, we had to offer the people there, or we're adding them more money for them there, specifically, it's going to them. You know, at least you're giving the idea, the people know where it's going to. The merit compensation is, well, it could go to anybody. It's not dedicated to 1, 2, 3, and that, you know, people want to see, and again, my opinion, dedicated where the line, you know, where this is. You know, and I think everybody that goes down there, and again, this is just an open conversation, not specific about any reasons, but You know, things have changed down there. I think they're getting better. I think the facility's looking better. I think it's overall, you know, and it's a place where it's a hard, obviously we found out to be a hard place to find employees to work. So if there's something that we can, just my 2 bit of a rant. Now that everybody's gone, except for you guys.
So the number that
Glen Home is still here.
the number you have in there right now, because it's $10,000 higher than what we are year to date. And that's 2 months left of the year. So is that based upon the current,
Are you talking about the collection fees?
no, I'm sorry, I'm back
Wages.
to the wages, the salary. Is that based upon the current wages?
Yes.
With the
and
employees.
present staff levels.
Okay.
There is a little bit in there just because, so,
I know we're lower because we were shorthanded in the spring, but.
You know, you gave out some pretty decent pay raises last year.
we need, if they work 31 hours a week, which is about the average, some are an hour or two open. Some of them maintain 30 hours, some are 32, it depends on the person. We need about 78,000 to staff it at
Current level.
the current hours, the 3 days open to the public and the 4 hours on Monday, setting up for the,
So that there is a $5,000 increase.
there
in
is
it.
a $5,000 fluff factor in there, I guess you would call it, but, you know, some of that did get absorbed this year with having that per diem person that was filling in for some of the absences,
Yeah.
but then again, it's offset.
So we made it.
Isn't much. So yes, 73,669 has been expended, there's still 4 pay periods left in
Right.
Yeah.
2024. Household hazardous waste collection, obviously ours in 2023 got pushed back to spring of this year, which meant that we didn't have a fall collection. And then the fall collection came and it was an increase over what we had budgeted in the past year, so anticipating that same increase moving forward. Again, you're talking about hazardous waste that need to be disposed of properly. There is a cost associated with that, and the way that it works with our regional program is it's normally based on the calculated formula of population times whatever.
Why don't they track which town, like, who comes from which town?
They do.
They do.
No, but like charge us for how many residents we sent. They don't do it that way. So if you had 10 Nottingham residents and,
I think because they have to provide us with a budgetary figure before the collection actually takes place.
right,
So they're just estimating.
but
Your population isn't gonna change. It's
no,
not
no, but
as much as
the charge, they charge us is just based upon the number of Nottingham residents that go. Okay.
So it doesn't matter how much we bring, it's the same figure.
So,
Fill that 5-gallon bucket.
so make sure you bring all your hazardous waste.
Oh, I do.
And I still think that even increasing that $400 over the default budget, it didn't match what we were invoiced for that collection that took place this year. So again, it's just an estimated guess.
Right.
Equipment maintenance, we have an older baler. We have a baler that we can get parts for right now. Atlantic Recycling is coming out. I have them scheduled so that they're coming out annually and checking all the equipment, including the compactor, just to make sure that everything has been checked and maintained appropriately. That comes with a cost. You know, we did have some, because of that older baler, we did have some issues with it early on. So there was a service invoice associated to that. Again, we don't know what the future's gonna hold. So I did increase that line item. We had reduced that from 3,500 to 1,500. I increased it to 3,500 because already this year we've expended $4,600. There's been talk at the CIP level about revamping a capital reserve fund that we have for the recycling center equipment. replacement, but adding into that fund, but that's not gonna help us with the maintenance needs, so we need to make sure that everything is maintained properly, so we're not replacing equipment sooner than needed. And then, you know, other items, safety equipment, construction, they're all $200 line items here and there. Some of which we have no historical trend for at least the past 3 years that we've expended anything, so, you know, an area to save $100 here, $200 there, I've reduced some of them. And that kind of offsets the fact that we are providing the employees over there with uniform service. In the past, we had given a clothing allowance. We went back to a uniform service because that takes away the fact that they're then taking that laundry to their personal washers and cleaning whatever may have collected on the uniforms for the day. So,
Well, plus it keeps them in good uniforms.
right. And I did cut out the fuel line altogether because we do not have a vehicle over there at present.
What about-
The backhoe is being, the highway department's grabbing it on the off days, they're
And they
using
fill
it.
it, okay, that's what I was gonna
It's
ask.
maintained, so it's kind of coming out of the highway department. But, yeah, the 1 ton that we salvaged out of it that was taken to cans, the highway department's doing that now, so there is no cost associated to that. If we wanted to expense it back to the department, we could. And supplies and equipment, we are purchasing clear bags that you're seeing to put your recycling goods in. In the past, as a recycling center, they were recycling those bags, but we're storing before they're being baled, so the ability to recycle those bags is a little bit more difficult, and people aren't really good about cleaning out their containers before they empty them, so when you have a bag that's been filled with salad dressing and laundry detergent,
Milk.
milk, yeah, it's, so.
That's
they-
the one. Laundry detergent doesn't smell bad after 2
No,
months.
that smells fresh.
They have been purchasing a lot more bags over the past 2 years than ever.
To ask them to recycle that many bags is ludicrous for what they're putting in there and what's going in.
Well, then they would smell bad. Well, and the other problem is that all of the recycled materials were falling out of the bale because it wasn't being held together, so it was creating a mess.
So do they have to use bags that match the number that, so
They
they
have to
have
be
to
a
have
specific
different,
bag, so
so it's
the
like a
ones
number
that
2
we
bag, a number 1 bag.
Correct.
Well, no, they don't have number 1 and number 2 bags. They're all number 2.
Yeah, it all goes into the,
Yeah.
So,
But as
that-
long as they're recyclable.
okay, so the number 1 bag, number 2's bags get used with number 1's?
They're all the same bag.
they're all the same bag.
Yeah.
So for discussion purposes, you know, net increase on that budget was $1,000. If we choose to add a couple $1,000 more in there for potential to put that forth, we can, that's for discussion purposes. Questions, or would you like to move on?
Move on.
Animal control looks pretty much in control.
Yeah. Animal control level funded at 6,000. Same thing with general assistance. It's there, we have to expend it when the opportunity presents itself, so we have to have something plugged in there. There is a current case that I anticipate will deplete the $5,000. We've expended 1,800 so far, I expect that will be fully expended before the year ends. So, again, it's the unknowns. I think that takes care of the back of everything.
know, there's flies everywhere.
I know they are everywhere. If we go back up to the executive, I have graciously restored your salaries, or your stipends rather, for discussion purposes. That was one of the items that was. I did adjust the secretarial line to reflect the administrative assistant and our minutes taker. We have a contracted minutes taker that charges $25 per hour. The average meetings are about 6 hours of transcription once they watch the video and transcribe it based on 2 monthly meetings. So I made sure that that was going to cover both our employee plus the minutes taker.
Where was that one?
It's line number 3,
Oh,
the secretarial. So that's not just the administrative assistant,
Okay.
that's also our.
that's what I was, yeah.
Again, we're in a similar situation across the board with all of our town equipment. I have budgeted on line 15, $1,700. That's an increase of $1,500. I need to replace at least 2 PCs in the office.
Your office?
Yes, in the selectman's office.
Okay.
So, right now I have earmarked mine, which this is my workstation, this laptop, and I am having memory issues. Even though everything that I have is saved to the server, it's running a i3 processor, which is old.
We also need to add, just for putting your notes, Alana needs another
Yeah, it's
computer.
in there.
Is that one of the 2?
No,
So-
no, this would take care of mine, either Nancy's or Betsy's, which are the same vintage.
You only got $450 set aside for that. Is that gonna be?
It's split between the zoning and the planning, so it's 800, I think we calculated
Oh, okay, you did it that way.
$900.
Okay, never mind, good. So, since you're just talking about computers. it's fine.
And then the other reality is our server is running off of, I can't remember what it is now, server 2010, something that's no longer supported. So we need to have that discussion, but I'm still working on a quote for that from Back Bay. Replacing the server is not a easy expense.
So the PCs, I mean, that should be like every year, if you've got 5 or 6 PCs in the office.
Well, that's what I
Usually
would like
3 or
to
4
try to
year.
do, is if we could, yes, get them on a rotating
Right.
schedule so that no PC ages out for more than 5 years.
That's in the high,
That's
that's
high.
still
I
on the
mean,
long end.
But
Probably
if you look at the
3.
age of our existing right now, especially the rec department, that's why Courtney had put them in, but ours are not far behind.
Yeah, we should try and replace like a third of them every year, so that we're like a 3-year schedule. That's optimal.
And then what's the future of the newsletter? I've heard that that may come in as a petition warrant article, but I don't know if you want to try to restore funding for it.
I was sad to see it go. I think was always a good resource for folks to get some information from all different.
People like getting it in the mail.
Yeah.
Have a hard copy.
And again, with all the changes with the printing availability, I don't even know what that looks like for an expenditure.
What was that?
I think they need to find another source for the printing,
Right.
so I don't even know what it looks like for an expense that to raise.
Right.
You know, just in terms of town information, that was one of the sources everyone agreed to, was valuable.
But they didn't agree on the budget. Ain't that a bummer?
It's a shame. And I agree with you, John, you have to do a better job of selling it.
I don't know if we'd sell it, we'll call it explaining it.
Okay, better. Both ways.
Questions, discussion purposes, anything? And I am still waiting on annual contracts to come through. A lot of the software renewals, which we'll see down in the finance administration and like our website hosting, it's been $2,500 and we spent $2,900 in 2023. I haven't been invoiced yet for 2024, so I've got to see what those renewals are. I don't want to under budget and have that be another $400 shortage.
And the internet line, it's been zero forever.
It's been zero. It's part of our phone bill. Comcast bills our phone and our internet in one, so it just gets tagged to the telephone.
Okay.
If it comes into a transparency thing where somebody wants to really see the breakdown, we can provide it. But budgeting for it, I think we're in the day and age now where you need both.
Right. As long as it's covered someplace.
Yeah, we could probably relabel the phone to be phone/internet or whatever. Might help with that transparency thing.
And that now all comes out of the town hall and other buildings, general government buildings budget.
There it is. Government building totals.
Moving on.
Sure.
Is it because we have just a single landline at the, sorry to go back at the recycling center, that it's too great,
Is it the what?
the telephone?
We actually have telephone and internet up there. We have internet for the credit card machine, but the internet is not strong enough to support the credit card machine from actually batching out properly. Not batching, but like batching a transaction at the time out. We've had IT out there and
So there's gonna be an upgrade in the future.
So wait a second, so the internet, we're paying for internet and the internet doesn't support even a credit card charge?
But they can get onto
it
the,
works, but intermittently.
It
So it's worth
sounds,
having.
No, I mean, they're not utilizing it now, and fortunately, nobody's really banging down the doors to pay by credit card. I think everybody's still accustomed to cash and check, so.
so we're not getting the service we're paying for, basically, is what it
But
comes
the
down to.
internet?
well, they still have to use it to go online.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we should be, that's a simple
The internet isn't there
trans.
for the credit card credit card
Right.
processing. We added that as a feature just to be more convenient.
But that's a simple transaction. That shouldn't take, we shouldn't have problems with the internet that it can't process a credit card transaction. That means we're probably not getting the service we're actually paying for.
Probably. You'll find that a lot of the plans that we're on across the town buildings are, base level plans that are
Yeah.
antiquated.
But still, it's a simple transaction. It's like, it's not like we're streaming
I'm not
videos.
gonna disagree,
We're
but,
not streaming videos.
right. I'm not gonna disagree. It's an area that needs to be improved upon.
Get too many people with their cell phones, and you go in the guest here and it kicks you
Well,
out.
I mean, there shouldn't be.
Process a credit card transaction on your cell phone today. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to
Right,
do it.
exactly, that's what I'm saying, it's like, it doesn't take much.
The supervisors of the checklist have provided their portion of the elections budget. Obviously, what that to the fact that we have one election opposed to the 4 that were budgeted this year in the default budget. So if you're looking at election totals, factoring in the town clerk, the moderator, and the supervisor of the checklist, there is a pretty significant reduction, but we also talked about some of that election equipment that could potentially be purchased this year that would level fund that budget and take care of the state requirements. You can see that the election funding is not carrying forward, so there's lots of work to do on this. Because this would be the printing of the ballot and the town report, the annual report. Finance administration, which would be the bookkeeper, the tax collector, the treasurer, our audit, trustees of the trust fund, and everything finance related. That one has been plugged in, and there is a slight decrease with all of those things factored in. And that is because there is discussion on the treasurer's stipend, UI. A lot of the elected officials that are receiving a stipend, this one in particular, has been at 5,000 per year, and there's question whether or not there should be any adjustments, maybe even a cost of living adjustment applied to some of these elected official positions, or if they remain the same, so I just left that in there for discussion.
What position?
This would be the treasurer's position. But technically, the stipend would apply to the tax collector, which she has requested a 3% cost of living increase. Trustee of the trust fund, I mean, that's $300 that gets split between the 3 trustees, to get $100 a year for a stipend. Just putting it out there for the ponder. Assessing is pretty much the same. It's of $100, and that's just estimating that there's going to be some type of a potential increase in our assessing support, our assessing software support. I'll be able to plug that in when we get it. Legal budget. As of right now, it's in there as a plug figure at level funding. I know that we're working through the proposals that were received for legal services. There wasn't much of a cost difference between the 4 that were received, so at present, we don't have any lawsuits or other, but there is, there's going to be beginning stages to update the master plan and whatever else comes forward. The rest of the items we can't really discuss right now because it's going to be a matter of what our bottom line figures are for wages in order to calculate what our payroll taxes and other benefits related expenditures will be. And then I'm gonna hold off on planning board and zoning board, just because that discussion hasn't taken place at the board levels yet. So, the only plug figure that I've put in there is just the new PC for the land use clerk split between the 2 departments. And then, of course,
Well, when I was looking at Alan's thing here, I didn't see that over there. Did I miss it? The walkway Courtney was talking about.
No, well, I don't think it's on Alan's plan because I don't think it's been reviewed if that's something that Ryan's proposing.
Right, but.
He is
But
proposing.
but if
gutter
we, but if we to put a warrant article out that says, hey, we're looking for X amount of money and we're gonna list the jobs,
Yes.
that should
That
be
would
part
be
of the
one of
warrant
them.
article. Should not be part of the rec.
Correct.
Cause he has the 1 to 3 year repair plan, so I mean, when we go over and look at this, we gotta decide,
But
you know.
Alan is focusing on the buildings, not the grounds. The grounds is kind of enveloped into the Parks and Rec.
Okay.
He
That
be
would make
i-
sense.
He would be
Yeah.
identifying
Yes.
like the gutters, the need for gutters on the building to help with the water runoff that impacts.
I can understand that. So, one thing I did notice missing in this is like a plan as far as performing the maintenance itself. Like, is any of these things stuff that comes out of his, would be funded through his stipend or whatever?
That would be a good discussion to have with Alan. Maybe I can call him in for next week's meeting.
Because that
mean, some of
stipend, right, that stipend is expected to pay for some of these maintenance.
Some of them, yeah, some of them he has put on there that reach out to some, you know, finds a professional to come and do it, and others it doesn't say.
Right, right, a lot of them, I mean, yeah. Right, is the cost materials, or is it cost, you know, somebody doing it, or what?
Yeah, make sure he's on the schedule. So, yeah, cause it's nice to see all these numbers that he kinda put in here, but let's find out what these numbers are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, cause I was like looking at the, for example, the town hall, cafeteria repair drywall. Condition 4 of 5, I guess this is. Cafeteria's drywall requires minor repairs to maintain a smooth, clean surface. So, was that, I mean, it says minor things, so I'm thinking just a little spackle. Was that part of our painting plan? Did that get painted? No,
No.
that didn't get painted.
No, because it was just recently renovated, so.
Yeah,
Or instance, the front bench.
yeah, the front bench at the library. That was, I mean, it's like, for the cost he's got here, we can buy a new bench.
So the goal tonight was to get through the bulk of the larger budget, so.
Oh, yeah. We have plenty of little stuff to talk about, so.
We can focus on we can focus on this list
Yep.
next week.
Yeah, really good. I wasn't trying to,
No, it's
I
good.
mean, it's 9 o'clock now, so.
Move to non-public.
Well, we should probably, we need to do these action items, right?
Yes.
The intents to cut.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make,
All right, now, so we're gonna be done with the budget for right now, from our,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
from what we spoke about, tonight with the department heads. We will be having many more future meetings to go over the budget. So if you feel like you wanna come down to attend, come down, or you go to the budget meeting when it gets there. But we're gonna do our best to get to the best budget we can to benefit the town. But we're now gonna move on to some action items at the end of this meeting. And there are intent to cuts under assessing.
I will make a motion, can I do them as all four together?
They're all the same, sure.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the intent to cuts for map 76 lot 2, map 32 lot 18, map 32 lot 22, and map 32 lot 23.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 4-0.
I make a motion to move to non-public per RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2A.
Do we need the other part?
That's the only one, right?
We don't need the rest of it? Okay.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Aye, Steve Welch.
Aye, John Decker.
Hi, John Warren.
Aye, Tim DeBrio.
Good night, Nottingham. Once we finish our non-public, we will be adjourning the meeting right away, and we will see you next week.